Well, here I am again, Maurice Lupton, off for my morning walk. This must be the finest stretch of beach on the finest island the whole world over. For a little speck of land in the North Atlantic, it sure is a good un. Oh, I see those yoga folks up at the lighthouse are up bright and early, saluting the sun and all that. I always thought that looked like fun. But this walk isn't the same without Sparky. She did love chasing that tennis ball. Oh, Sparky, I miss you, girl. The crater's definitely been smoking more than usual lately. That's funny, that, for a dormant volcano. Shelmerston used to be a quiet place. You'd only come here if you liked fishing or bird watching. But since the new ferry service started, we get loads of tourists. But what you gonna do? It's always changing. Yep, Shelmerston's a smashing place. I'm lucky to call it home. Ah, the bench. Yeah, this is, well, it's my bench. Yeah, the museum paid for it because I was the curator there. Yeah, and they did that to remember me because, oh yes, I am dead.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. This is not a walkthrough, and this is definitely not some meta commentary. This is I Am Dead, the final verdict, or review. If you really want to kind of know my ebb and flow and how I've been doing my verdict videos, watch the Chia walkthrough. Well, Chia verdict. Or even watch the Fighting X Lair. That kind of gives you a good sense of how the ebb and flow. With that in mind, let's get reviewing. I had to rush because this game has literally disappeared in 30 minutes because of PlayStation and Sony. So, part 1. What will I give I Am Dead out of 10? Suffice it to say, even though this game deserves me a 6 out of 10 or a 7 out of 10 because you are in kind of a puzzle simulator. Suffice it to say, it should really get a 6 or 7. But I'm gonna be generous, and I think the positives largely outweigh the negatives, so we'll give it an 8 out of 10. You're probably why I give it an 8 out of 10. Well, that's where part 2 and part 3 comes into play, so let's get to part 2, the negative. So, for part 2, I really thought long and hard of what was the negative if I Am Dead, and I had to really think about this one. Okay, so it wasn't a simplistic gameplay. I think I could overlook that. I was going to count that as a negative. It's the side quest and the extra content for I Am Dead. So if I am the Bredkins, I forgot how they're pronounced, that Sparky is really obsessed with finding, that was kind of one of the things, or the side quests, or those riddles. The riddles were interesting for the short time I did it, but there's no incentive to, that's one of the negatives. The side quests and finding the collectibles, there's no incentive to that, and I couldn't care less about doing that. Why? I don't have a clip for this one, because I feel like that would take time, and just because of the sake of time, it's not really worth doing the side quests, and there's no incentive to get the credits. I feel like there is maybe extra cutscenes, additional dialogue, but I could not care less. So yeah, that was one of the negatives. I did not care about that as much. And the other negative, and I did say the simplistic gameplay was something I could overlook, and I wouldn't consider that like a huge negative. I think it got a little bit repetitive in terms of it, and I guess that is part of the gameplay, which kind of sucks. So I kind of contradict myself, but so the point of the whole game is to find guardians to be the new custodians, and you have to find their memories, and you have to get the mementos after that. So, as much as the collecting the memories and the mementos is fun, when you really think about it, the game is a huge fetch quest. It's a huge scavenger hunt and fetch quest. And it does kind of get a little bit repetitive. I mean, it's nothing bad, but it's a minor nitpick. I will consider that a negative because they could have did so many interesting stuff with finding the memories and the mementos, but they didn't. And that's kind of where it's a minor nitpick, but I can't overlook it, and yeah, that's one other negative. So you're probably why I give this an 8 out of 10. Very surprised. That's where part 3 comes into play. Alright, so in terms of part 3, which I like talking about it, the positive, part 3, I guess the first positive is let's acknowledge it, the sharp writing and the excellent voice acting. Roll the clip.
Good, is it, old girl?
Don't worry, Morris. I hate it when you worry. It makes me nervous.
He's waiting for David Abrams. I guess I'm like him in that way. The most important person in my life wasn't technically a person, more like an island.
Yes, the island. This island. A whole island's worth of people and stories. Not like Greg at all. Everyone loves you.
Really? Well, loved me, perhaps, past 10.
Good, you're back. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. But there's too many instances where the writing is just heightened by the characters. And if there were charismatic characters, that's going to be the other positive, but because of the sharp writing, the excellent voice acting from the main leads, who plays Morris, Lipton, and Sparky, but all of the other characters are fantastic because of the fantastic writing too. That is the positive. It never lets up. It's consistent, and the writing just keeps getting better even at the end too. Even when nothing interesting is happening, these characters with excellent voice actings really make the game, it pushes you to the end. Strong voice acting from the beginning to the strong voice acting to the end. Now, second positive. Without excellent voice acting, these characters would not be fantastic, but it helps that the characters are so distinctive and unique that they never feel boring. They feel real, they feel relatable, they're heartwarming, they're charismatic in their own distinctive way. But yeah, they're nothing wrong with the characters. I think they're fantastic. Roll the clip.
Now, we'll talk about this in a bit, Sparky. Sam, it's always good to see you. Will you be around later?
I think I will. A volcanic eruption is a rare and beautiful thing. I think I'd like to see it.
Good, you're back. So, yeah, the characters from Sam to Morris to Sparky to Ogden to even the annoying prick Greg, all the characters are just distinctive with their personality, and they're really nice people besides Greg. They're really just generally nice people to engage with. They feel very heartwarming. They're really nice to talk to. And in terms of Shoreston, I hope I pronounced it right, probably not. I feel like the characters are also the best part because of the sharp writing that heighten them and make them feel real, but they're such great characters and you like getting to know them, especially for the Guardians, getting to know their memories. So yeah, that was another positive. The other positive is the atmosphere, and just kind of like, let's say more of the visual styles. The visual styles are crazy well done for this Annapurna, but really, it's Richard Hogg and his development team. The visual styles are just like feel very cartoony, but very unique style. And it was easy on the eyes, it never let up, it never dipped in quality. It was always consistently artistically great throughout from the beginning to the end too. Well, let's roll the next clip and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to the next memory. At the picnic blanket. Okay. I don't see them at the picket blanket. Might be missing them. Alright, now I am curious of what Val sounds like. Alright. Is that how she died? See what I mean? It just never lets up. It was fantastic from the beginning to the end. Like the acting, it was strong from the beginning and to the end in terms of the artistic direction. And I don't think a lot of people talk about the artistic direction in this way. I like how the color palette changed for every character. So whoever we were going to engage next, like Val, Ogden, Greg, the color palette, it emphasized and it really imbued, I don't think that's how it's pronounced, it really showed the characters' personality quirks and their actual mindset with the color palettes. Because of the color palettes, the characters were interesting like throughout the whole way. And I like that the color palettes translate to the memory too. So the memory showed the color palette of how the character was feeling or their entire like being. So I don't think it gets talked about enough, but I appreciate that the visual and artistic design was, how do I describe it? Yeah, I think I described it very well. I think that's how it summed it up. The art style was fantastic. So along with the sharp writing, excellent voice acting, the characters that really make the bulk of the game that were all just unique and diverse in their own ways, and the artistic design, what's the other positive? I know, I'm shocked that I have a lot of positives with this game, but here we are. The other positive, and I really had to think about it, the other positive that I will say was a strong point, and I think this is the last positive. It wasn't the music, nothing groundbreaking about it. I think it was the memories. The memories are the heart and soul of this game, and it does extremely well. There was just too many instances that the memory makes you feel there's like a sense of history about Sharon's Dunn. I know I'm mispronouncing it. There's a lot of history that you get from these people, from yoga to toast to the fish people to everything. But also it has a little bit of not personal history, but personal lens of what these people were going through on a day-to-day life. That's too relatable. I highly appreciate learning about these characters and what they've been going through, their day-to-day, what's the Sharon's Dunn. I feel like I'm mispronouncing it, but it doesn't matter. The memories are just, because of the excellent writing and the characters are heightened and you love learning about them. I love going back to the memories every time, especially with the beautiful color palette that we learned about them. It sets the right mood and it gives you like a bit of, or a little bit of, oh my gosh, I was not expecting that, or that's heartwarming and wholesome. That's what I mean in terms of the memories.
I ran down to his house, my heart in my mouth. His mum, she never did like me, was a little bit smug. She told me Ogden had sailed off to New Zealand. He was headed to Christchurch, she said, and didn't know when he was coming back. Then she shut the door.
So you gave up your dream to go to a lavish university to get educational advancement and career advancement, to be specific, and then home, pretty much your love or soulmate went to New Zealand and left you. Man, significant other-wise? Yeah, a significant other would be freaking pissed and devastated.
I was more than a bit tearful, but, looking back, I think we both needed to have a bit of an adventure. One day, Ogden showed up at the shop, completely out of the blue. He told me there was nowhere like Shelmerston, and no one like me. I was so thrilled to see him, I asked him to marry me there and then. He said yes.
Wouldn't it be the opposite, like he proposed to you, but, okay. Well, that's sweet. That is very sweet.
Aggie was quiet the whole time, but Ibni cried out. A sound of longing and hurting from her heart like I had never heard. Then she fell silent, and as Aggie's life poured from her body, the island and everything on it fell suddenly still. Utterly still.
Okay, this one was a solid flashback. Very
We wept
sad.
then, in sorrow and relief. Then the fish folk were among us, countless, numberless. One embraced Ibni, holding her up as it seemed her own legs might give way. When the sun came up that day, land and sea folk stood together for the first time, talking and singing the old songs, Aggie's songs, together.
So, yeah, in terms of the concluding thoughts, yeah, I'm going to, of course, give this an 8 out of 10. I think my concluding thoughts about this. No one's going to buy it. No one's going to rate it. This is a one-off game by pretty much published by Annapurna Interactive. This is definitely a one-off game. And no one is absolutely going to... No one's going to play this. I hate to say this. I think it's worth checking out just once. There's no replayability on this one. There's not a lot I can say about this one. There's not. Huh. Yeah, I had quick thoughts about this. I didn't have a whole lot. I didn't have very deep thoughts about this. My only other concluding thoughts is, like I said, no one's gonna buy it, no one's gonna rent it, people are just gonna play it once and never play it again, which is understandable. Or they probably even won't play it to the end. This is kind of one of those one-off games that, hey, I heard about this, I'm probably not gonna pay it, or not gonna pay to play it, or they're gonna play it. I completely understand. And I could also see why the ending people are going to be divisive about it too. This is kind of one of those endings that will divide the fans. And that's completely understandable. It's nothing great. Yeah. I think it's pretty much fitting for the game. I don't think it's a positive, but I can see why it will defy fans or whoever stuck it to the end. There are a few plot threads dangling. That's a concluding thought. I don't think the ending was the best, but I think for this type of game, I think it pretty much fits it. But I think they could have done a lot bit more. So that's my concluding thoughts. 8 out of 10, I think that's pretty appropriate. I wanted to give it 7 out of 10, but I think the writing, the characters, from the memories to the visual design, I think the positive really did outweigh the negative in terms of that. So, guys, in terms of talking about my schedule, I will save that for the next video just to kind of let you know what's going on. And of course, you can leave that like, comment, or subscribe. What is your favorite type of game for this? And of course, if I don't see you guys today, have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and whatever time zone you're in. And I will see you guys on next video game content. Okay, well, you'll see a lot of editing or Shatter Factory, so let me go ahead and show you guys the ending of this game, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Timon.
The one part of Shelmerston that looks just the same as the first day I saw it. I suppose it always will.
I love this beach. It's always been my favorite beach. I'm gonna go run.
Aggie, look at Sparky. She's shining.
That's the hope and the joy shining out of her.
That's it, isn't it? The point of all of this.
It is hope, home. This island, it chose the two of you just as it chose me.
And where will you be heading now? Heaven or something?
Heaven, what's that?
Well, I don't quite know how to explain it, but to me, it would be an awful lot like this beach.
I don't know where I'm going, but I'm hoping to see Ibni, my daughter.
Oh,
It's been a very long time, but I remember her. We never forget the ones we love, do we, Morris?
No, I don't suppose we do.
I think she wants something, Morris.
Huh. Would you look at that? I just found a tennis ball in my pocket. Here you are, girl.